the one on camera. Like, I'm just like behind the scenes asking people questions, but it just made me so uncomfortable. And I don't feel that way anymore. Like, sometimes I do still get a little nervous, but it's not nearly as bad as it used to be.
I think it's just really cool that, so maybe it's, you know, a little out of turn, but I've been, you know, working on some of the content, the shorts, and I've had people just kind of around me, friends, and they hear something and they're like, what is that?
Yeah.
You know, and there's some really hard takes in parts of the interview. And I think that when there was a reaction that like buddies of mine got, thinking like, that's wild, I can't believe she said that.
Yeah.
That it becomes way more powerful for you to, it's like a necessity for you to get it out there, because if random people have that reaction, everyone's going to feel some type of way about something that gets said. And I think that's so important, because the whole focus is diversity, women in the workplace, like what we stereotype cybersecurity to be and what it actually is. I just think it's awesome. So there's like a little more added pressure on you to like come in and ask the questions that you know are going to get people to say how they really feel.
Yeah, definitely. That's a very good point. And it is always kind of a challenge to create a space where people do truly feel safe to like be vulnerable. Like, we do talk about some pretty heavy things, and a lot of women have, you know, told us about experiences they've had that just make me want to cry, honestly, because it's just not, it's not fair. Like, it's just not fair. And but they did it, they got through it. And like, I think the bravery of women in cybersecurity is so real, because it is not easy to be the only person like in the room. And every woman that we've had the chance to talk to has impacted me and inspired me in some way, because they are all courageous and tenacious, and like they've all persevered through so much. And I think being exposed to that as well, like being exposed to so many powerful, strong women, that also really, really helped my confidence, because I'm like, why am I being so nervous, and like, why am I letting myself, you know, get in my head like this? And I see these women and they're strong and confident. I'm like, I want to be like that. Like, I want to be that person, you know? So it's been absolutely amazing hearing their stories, and I hope it does like make a difference in people's lives and the way they think. Like, I really, really do. Again, that's kind of, to me, if it changes someone's perspective and maybe makes them be a little kinder and a little more empathetic, like, then it's a success in my eyes.
There are a lot of people who probably would have quit their roles in the organization they worked for.
Yeah.
If they were forced is a tough word. If they were nudged in the direction that you were nudged into. But you've taken it and definitely grown and thrived.
Yeah.
I mean, look at going from co-producer to a full producer to on-screen talent to organizing.
Put a little asterisk on that.
I mean, you are.
No, I mean, Cyber's gonna have a hard time keeping you
within the documentary.
Be sick.
Within the documentary, you've been in a few podcast episodes. You now have your own one-on-one series.
Yeah.
I mean, I was gonna say, like, there's no asterisks there.
Yeah.
Like, you think there is, and then you realize,
I'm like, God, I actually do all these things, don't I? Oh, goodness.
But there's a lot of people who would have bailed. I mean, quite frankly. And you just said, oh, if I'm being asked to do this, I might as well, do it right.
Yeah,
So-
it's like the coolest experience I've ever had, honestly. I never pictured that I would be doing something like this, being a part of a documentary. Like, what? We're gonna have a premiere for it? What the hell? Like, it's just
crazy.
so crazy
I'm gonna have
to
to
me.
outdress
Yeah, we're gonna be
Dylan.
looking good.
Yeah.
Okay, we're
I've
gonna need some good pictures.
I've got some
of
buddies
everybody.
now in the suit making industry.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I might come fly.
We're gonna be looking.
If I can make this
very
happen,
good.
I might be fly.
He's gonna have a sponsorship.
Written on the back of the jacket. We are running out of time,
Okay.
unfortunately. I've got one question I'm hoping you can share with us.
Okay.
Well, it's going to end up being two questions. But one, can you tell us a powerful story that you've heard from filming the documentary, from interviewing people in the doc, and particularly something that might have impacted you in a major way?
Oh God, these are the kind
don't
of
cry,
questions
'cause
I'm
we'll all
bad
cry.
at. Because like I'm not very good at like recall. Like my memory is not good at like recalling specific instances. Let me think about that. Like specifically documentary interviews.
Yeah. Because, I mean, I've seen the content. So the stuff that resonates with me.
Yeah. Well, honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is Tasha's interview, and maybe that's just because I know Tasha well, and she is very fresh in my mind
She's
at all
who comes
times.
to my mind.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, her interview really, really did change my perspective because Tasha is such a beautiful human being, and she is also a very emotional creature as well, and I think that's one reason that we do get along so well. And like, she is one of the most supportive people I've ever seen in my entire life. Like, she is always truly looking to just boost other people up and encourage them and, you know, help them feel just good about themselves. And unfortunately, that's not always the treatment that like she's received throughout her life, because she is a Black woman in cybersecurity, and like that's not a very common thing, and it's becoming more so. But especially when she started, like, she was the only person in the room that looked like her, and like just hearing her go into what that was like for her, and it really made me able to truly picture it. Like, I could put myself in her shoes and think, God, what if this was me 20 years ago? Like, I'm the only woman, you know, I can only like think from my own perspective, but it is such a hard thing to do, and it definitely like impacted her very deeply, you know. So just kind of hearing her like get a little bit emotional about the things that she has faced and the treatment that she's received like throughout her life just is so heartbreaking to me, because she is such a good egg that she does not deserve that, but because she's a Black woman, like, people think it's okay, you know? So that's one that really impacted me. And honestly, like, I will say, I think all of the interviews that we've done with Black women have been very impactful to me, because again, I only know my own lived experience. I don't know what it's like to be a Black woman. I know what it's like to be a woman, but it's a very, very different experience. So hearing from all of them and really being able to like hear their perspectives it really has opened my mind a lot, and I think it's made me a bit of hopefully a kinder person.
Wow, awesome. Could you tell us what exciting is coming up and what your future plans are?
Yeah. Exciting coming up is the Do We Belong Here documentary.
Okay, let's
that
go.
will be released on September 10th. And along with that, we're going to be releasing a podcast episode with Jenny Radcliffe, the People Hacker. We recorded it live at the WESIS conference, and it was an amazing conversation. So I'm very, very excited to share that. I am working on a new segment called The Soul of Cyber, where I kind of sit down with people and I'm the one chatting with them, and it'll be a little bit more of like a casual conversation.
Jen Easterly first episode.
Jen Easterly,
that
yes,
was a phenomenal,
which is crazy.
That was a
Again, like, yeah,
like initial episode just to see if
Thank
this
you.
could be a series. And
you know what? I'm so glad you said that too, because I almost backed out of doing it that way. Like, I was like, I don't want to start with somebody this impressive. Like, that is so nerve-wracking.
Setting the bar high.
Yeah, but everyone was like, if you start with her, like, it's gonna be easy
coasting.
after that.
Smooth
You know,
sailing, yeah.
exactly.
But again, networking.
Yeah.
You had the opportunity. It wasn't that you went for the stars.
No.
It was that, hey, in the correspondence, and we're gonna be here, and just all these different dominoes fell that it just so happened to be her.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, okay, I guess.
I mean, I'm not gonna say no, like, to Jen Easterly, definitely not. She's
but like
awesome.
that is gonna be a great addition to the Do We Belong Here podcast series, where the podcast and this mini series, whatever kind of terminology gets is used, is going to be a nice addition.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. I mean, I was in the room recording it, and I was like, I like this. I just like that model, that one-on-one component. It was a nice take.
I appreciate hearing that greatly. I thrive on validation, as I've said before. So yeah, I appreciate that, and it is nice to like be able to be the one doing it as well. Like, it definitely makes me nervous, but I do like talking to people and hearing their stories. And it kind of like, in the pre-interviews, they were always so good, and I got so much good information that I'm like, God, I just want this to like be an episode. So I'm very excited for that. Future plans, I have no idea.
More documentaries.
I'm sure I'll fall into something soon.
Feature-length films.
Yeah.
Let's roll it
Nothing
back
I
and do
know
another
of.
one.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, actually, I don't know if I should say this or not, but there is the potential of Cyber Florida doing another documentary. Is all I will say.
You heard it here first.
So
Hey,
yeah,
we'll take the potential first release notes.
Yes.
I'm all in. I'm all in. All right. We hear you loud and clear. You can't say it, but
can't say it, but something might be coming.
all right.
Where can people find you if you want to do your socials or Cyber Florida, Do We Belong, like whatever it is you want people to
Yeah.
click on? Where do they go?
People can find me if you would like to talk to me on LinkedIn. My name is Serena Gandy, so you just search that up and you'll find me. And you can find the Do We Belong Here podcast on all of the social platforms. Our username is @DoWeBelongPod. And, as I said, I'm not the best at social media, but give us a follow, encourage me, and watch as I continue growing.
And the Cyber Florida YouTube channel.
Yes, and the Cyber Florida YouTube channel. Please go look at that because we have so much good content on there that we are extremely proud of.
At Cyber
go there.
Florida YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where everything
Yes,
goes.
everything
Both
and
podcasts, the
everything.
new series, the documentary is going to
Yep.
drop there. At Cyber Florida.
Doing a
At
better
Cyber.
job, promoting this than I am.
Yeah.
Listen to Kevin.
Just want to make sure that one's.
We'll put it all in the description.
Yeah.
Everyone will have links to
Okay,
click on.
great.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it. It was a great conversation.
Yeah, thank you guys so much for having me. I'm
you.
grateful to have done this and to know you guys. Honestly, I've learned a lot from you. So.
Wow, we started with not wanting to be here.
Yeah,
Now we're here.
Let's
Let's
go.
go.
It went well, so everything's changed.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye. Bye-bye.